anyway. Because the first person who gets their ultimate weapon, if you're doing everything as you can, is actually Buki, so no big deal. Oh, sorry, spoilers. I don't know, it's like she's the only person who didn't look generic and she had the plot drawn to her. I mean, I don't know.
Arlo wants you to lead a patrol across country in case Princess Ailish gets caught up in the action.
I'm like, can I go in now? No, no spoiler door, but I wanted to show off spoiler door.
Learn the legends of Sudeki by Silhouette.
I know I recognize that voice somewhere. I think I've heard that voice somewhere before. You know what? While I'm recording this, I'll let Tal solve the next puzzle, because there's a whole puzzle. I don't know. No, the puzzle isn't to open the front gate. It's to get a wolf totem. And just so you know, there's 4 different kinds of totems, and there's 4 of each totem. And if you collect all 4 of a given totem and then sacrifice it at a given place, you will get your ultimate weapon. But for each totem you bring, you also get those items that give permanent stat boosts. So since the shrine that we can sacrifice this totem to is on the way, it's really handy to solve this puzzle before you go so you can get an extra boost to yourself. Anyway, I'm going to look up the Sudeki IMDb and try to figure out. That's who it is. I don't even need to look it up. I know who it is now. Any of you who've played Fable the Lost Chapters or the original Fable, just Fable 1 in any format, you know this voice. You know the voice who said that, you know, you could learn the legends of Sudeki. Because it's Thunder. I can't believe I almost missed that. It's Thunder. And I'm so glad that I actually, like, didn't have to look it up. That even though I went to look, I definitely knew. I was like, I know this guy. I know this voice somewhere. Oh, stocks are used to punish those who, okay. Lucica is apparently a big fan of the stocks, apparently. Or she's a fan of the guillotine. I suppose we'll have to find out. Hint. Hint. Nah, I'm mostly joking with you, it's fine. Oh, this is something I don't understand. I'm kind of a little bit with Spoony on this one. In the case of a save system, you kinda need to have some form of, like, not all of them need to be explained. Like, the Pillars of Light and Legends of the Dragoon, there's enough magical stuff there that an ambiguous, you know, pillar of light that happens to let you save your game makes about as much sense as fireflies that heal you. Yes, we'll get to that at some point. But this is a very conspicuous floating book on a very conspicuous rotating magical science pendulum. What in the heck is it? I do not know how to make sense of that. It's just that nobody talks about it. Nobody addresses it. Nobody says, hey, there's this magical book that, you know, I don't know, showcases your life, or, you know, let's, you know, nobody. Nope. It's not even like, oh, it just shows you stuff you've already done. Oh, and by the way, totally a military checkpoint, and I'm totally breaking their stuff. Yes, in Sudeki, there's established items that you can totally break, and just walk off with the stuff, and nobody will care. It doesn't matter where it is. And if there's a chest, guess what? That's yours. Oh, Omnium. We're gonna get to Omnium later. But basically, there's a quest involving Omnium. And I think I foolishly sell some of it along the way. But that's okay, because I have a file where I already have all the ultimate weapons saved with no further story progress. And I also have one before I finished getting the last totems, but I just figured I'd save myself the journey if I want to. Even if I want to record myself doing those quests, I'd save myself the actual running around going back to the shrines, because that was a bit of a pain. Like, oh, hey dude, I can talk to you.
Hurry up. Arlo's waiting for you.
But yeah, Arlo being your dad is supposed to be a surprise. It's really not, but it's supposed to be.
Men, the time has come to put your training to good use. I want every piece of Eclorian scum removed from the area before sundown.
Sir, yes, sir.
March to New Brightwater and make sure the road is secure. Tal, take charge of the 2 rookies, and we'll rendezvous in New Brightwater.
Sir,
Wow. You're getting trusted with 2 rookie cops. I mean, that's pretty awesome. You're on your first mission to go protect a princess, and you have 2 rookie cops in tow. You know, I get this really strong feeling that this is going to be a good day. Good stuff is going to happen today. I mean, it's not like I'm an anime protagonist on the first mission of the game. Nah, that's... Oh right, the Aclorians, because they darken the skies. That's a thing. Oh, 2 travelers with Bantha? It's Fantasy Bantha! Oh dear. And now you know why. Well, actually, you don't know just yet. But you're starting to know why, back in the Xbox era, this was rated M. This is rated M partially for innuendo, and partially because, gibbets. And back in the day, poorly rendered gibbets, that was basically our bread and butter. Let's see, yeah, there it is. Blood cloud. And more blood clouds. And you can straight up make people explode into meat chunks if you do certain moves, but, turning them into a bloody mist back in the day was just horrific. Now, I get the strange feeling it would still... be labeled as rated M around here, but it would have been laughed out of any rated M thing anywhere in the current era. I mean, seriously, just blood mist? Make it green and you could make that a T-rated game. Even if you had meat chunks. Just, no, that's fine, just, it's rated T now. Because that's how far we've got. Man, I should really, like, set it up so I can stream my pre-recordings of this and then, you know, commentate with you guys as we all watch together as Ancient Me does stupid things. Or I should rope inside Slick again. Now that I have my own stuff, it's just a matter of finding the time where I won't be constantly dealing with people. Oh, that was a good time and I missed it, but I'll try and explain anyway. Part of the signs that you can tell that Sudeki wasn't quite finished before it was sent out in the old school days is the menus. When you look at the menus, you can see they're very minimalist. They've got kind of this cloudy gray background. They're not quite complete. And it's even more obvious on the original Xbox era that something's just not right. Like, you're playing a beta build that got sent out. And as we get close to the end of the game, you'll hear exactly why I am confident that is exactly what happened.
I'll stain the floor with your insides.
And everybody explodes. Meat chunks! See, I told you, meat chunks. And yet again, back in that day it gets you an M, but nowadays, change the color of the blood and that's a T-rated game. Especially with an aesthetic like this. But you'll see as time goes on that despite the aesthetic, this game was aimed and written for the sake of a mature audience. Not like, it's childish like South Park. No, I mean like, a lot of the writing about this is aimed at the, I'm gonna say 17 to 21 audience. Now that I'm 25, I'm not out of it, but it is one of those things where it was interesting to run into.
Wants the area cleared at any cost, but he hasn't seen that monster yet.
Oh yeah, I missed my chance to say it, but no, rookies, no! I guess I didn't stop to think about it because, I didn't stop to think about it because it was so obviously telegraphed that those 2 rookies were so dead. Yeah, and yes, we keep collecting random monster parts and jewels that we find during combat, and people just happen to be carrying healing items, and you know why? Because, I mean, they're not here right now, but it's because there are various merchants you can sell things to, and each merchant likes various things. We'll discuss it further, but basically and here's the altar, as it says, you can unlock Harriston's ultimate weapon, and, Harriston, you don't know who he is yet, per se, but you kind of know who he is. But that's an Orb of Vigor. You can use it to increase the max HP. Again, each time you bring a totem of any kind to one of these people, you can use one of these, and it'll not only, that wasn't just it healing 100, that was it increasing my health permanently by 100, and it's a really good way to start. Oh, by the way, lazy recycled models. because that looks exactly like Elko's girlfriend. So, just maybe a different color scheme. Is that a cat? Oh my god, I missed that the first time. Or I didn't, and then I forgot. But that's a dead cat, man. These Aglorians, they're just monsters. They just kill whoever. It's just messed up, man. And yes, the white arrow on your minimap. It'll tell you this, but the white arrow on your minimap tells you where the quest is. And we're about to fight more light spawn. Or, no, Aklorians. We're not up to light spawn yet. These are all Aklorian soldiers. Do yourself a favor. There are certain guys that they're basically Cervantes. They have gun swords. Kill them first. Especially early on in this game. Because, like, you have to prioritize it too. You have to prioritize killing them because they will... It's actually really easy to manage pure melee soldiers, but throughout the game you'll find various ones that will go, I don't actually want to fight you, I want to move to a distance and then fight you. I was fighting very poorly this time, but it's one of those things where I'm trying to... See, the biggest problem is that some enemies later on that play that role, that run around and try shooting you instead of fighting you, some of them later on can teleport. So it's really important to keep an eye on those people. If they attack with projectiles... Oh, and this is the other angle. Every single time you defeat an enemy, you gain experience points, and you can use them to level up. Now, you can only increase stats... you can use these spheres to unlock various abilities, or to increase your natural stats. But you can't increase those stats beyond a certain point in time. As you can see, there's a level requirement. Not all of them do, but, you know... Well, I mean, not every single option does, but that's basically how it goes down. The big one is, overall, that I have been doing this run, trying to balance Tal's stats out as much as I can. Because you have 4 major stats. You have your health, and you have your skill points, which increase your maximum total of the points in the corner there, obviously. But then you have your power, which is how hard your normal attacks hit, which I would suggest for Tal and Buki. You do that. You raise that all the time, along with their HP. But then there's Essence, which changes how much your skills do as damage. I mean, like, I'm sure to an extent your power scales in the case of Tal and Buki, but from what I can tell, no, it really doesn't. The Essence entirely affects how much damage you're doing. But, it's a weird thingamajig. The weird part is, I just, not joking, the other night I was fighting an upgraded version of one of these later in the game. So, this game does have a lot of variety. I don't want to mislead you there. But I'm just saying that it's interesting how some of these enemies become a constant. But anyway, there are 2 characters, as it should be in a balanced party. You have 2 characters that are really good at physical combat and 2 that are good at skill-based combat. And whereas you still want to kind of increase the health of the skill-based people, because I mean, it's the health, you'll find out later why it's not as big a concern that they have a lot of health. And it's not, oh, because they're the mage users and it's not going to go up as quickly. No, it's not that. It's actually some other issue entirely. Because it's one of the unique selling points to Sudeki, and I hope I honestly get to it by the end of this recording session. I do. Because Sudeki did something in this game that most games didn't do ever, in fact. In fact, I would say it's one of the few times that these 2 mechanics just actually successfully blended together. Now, you could say that there are a few different games you could use this with, but honestly, it's not going to happen. Oh yeah, you can't interact with everybody, but the world is alive, so you can interact with most people, especially most people in a hub world, and in fact, that's how you find most treasures and unique stuff.
Tao, good to see you, man. There's been no sign of the
Pugly
princess
pub.
yet. A few of the locals said she'd already passed through just before the zone became active. Here's hoping she made it to Brightwater okay. Tao!
I'm like, no, I want to talk to this guy over here. Hello, guy. No? Okay. But there's also a few different mechanics. I didn't actually address it before, but basically every single character has a different action that only they can take. In the case of Tull, he's boring, so he gets to move blocks. So when you saw him doing that, that's something only he can do. So if you see something with a weird little handle on the side that seems roughly person-sized, then you need Tull to take care of that. And I bring it up because we're about to see something that Tull can't do. Oh, there's sparklies. I wonder what sparklies do. Too bad we can't know, because, you know, reasons. And yes, sparklies are a thing, but sometimes their uses are... Sometimes the uses of them get lazy later in the game. Like, you're not actually supposed to be able to see what the sparklies are referring to, but you can, because they didn't have time to code it. There's lots of little stuff like that, but I swear this is a fantastic game. And I know it sounds like I'm talking it down while trying to say it's good, but no, really. See, that's the trick with Tull and Buki. You don't honestly need SP to get your job done very often. But it is helpful to have. And there's that. And then you can just roll right along. See, Sudeki does something with random encounters that I saw before No, I wouldn't say before I saw Sudeki. But I'd say before I ever completed Sudeki. But it does it better than that game did. Well, I suppose I can still tell you guys. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core was the first Final Fantasy VII game I ever played. Yes, laugh it off, make fun of me, but I'm being sincere with you. And what Crisis Core did, which did not function because they didn't think it through, is that there were certain chambers of sorts that you would get into an encounter in, and you would be able to recognize it very easily, in most cases. And sometimes you couldn't avoid it, but for the most part in Final Fantasy VII, you could avoid walking into these arenas and setting them off, and in doing so completely trivialize most missions. And Crisis Core practically incentivized you to do that because the level up system was not based on how many enemies you defeated, but based on effectively random chance. So you had ways to abuse the system in your favor, but frankly, Crisis Core leveled at random chance, and that was not a good game design option. So you ended up having to depend entirely on your materia and your equipment to compensate. But in Sudeki, your level ups are pre-established. So this means you know exactly when you're going to get into a fight. You know in advance